we should be live any second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barnon 11970. Sorry about that. I usually block the camera when I'm not using it, and I'm sure a lot of people do that. And if you don't, I definitely recommend doing so. But my name is Chris. This is my channel, Barnon 11970. I want to talk about something that I really think needs to be discussed. As usual, you guys know, if you're subscribed to my channel, I watch a lot of YouTube videos to kind of see what's going on in the world. I don't have mainstream media. I don't listen to it. I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to propaganda. I don't listen to other people telling me how to think and what to say. But I thought this one was important enough for me to show myself on camera. So I see people already starting to come in, so welcome. Now, if you see in the title of this, what November 4th is really about. Now, a bunch of videos I've been seeing lately have been talking about some kind of event that might be happening with Antifa and other propaganda machines, shall we say. And a bunch of people are talking about potential civil war. And there are people saying, you know, we're so tired of this. We want it to just happen. I want people to start thinking a little differently. Now, I want to address this to everybody. I don't care if you're black or white. I don't care if you're gay or straight. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I don't care if you're from America or you're from China, North Korea, Iran. One of the things we seem to be forgetting, and that's thanks to the government and especially the media, is that we are all human beings. Because whether you're black, white, gay, straight, religious, anything, you're still a human being. And what especially YouTube is doing, because they like to block things, like mine is going to automatically be blocked. I'll be shocked if more than 30 people see this live. They want people to be emotionally involved because it's very easy to influence people if you base things on emotion. I'm going to give you a prime example. How many of you have ever gone out with a bunch of your friends and like, you know what, we're going to go out, maybe meet some girls, meet some guys, whoever you're into or whatever you're planning on doing, and you're just there to have a good time. Then all of a sudden, some of your friends get too many drinks in them. Somebody says something wrong. Somebody bumps into them, and all of a sudden fights break out. It's that emotion that makes people do things that they regret. How many people have done things, especially under the influence of something, that they regretted later? Because you're not really going to think straight. And if we know anything about the mainstream media, their job is to get us, we the people, to fight amongst ourselves so they can profit off of us. The more people they can send to prison, the more money they're going to make. Now, about this November 4th situation, the government wants you to fight the battles for them. They're going to sit on the sidelines while they get the sheep to do all the dirty work. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen because I'm not going to be a part of it, and I hope anybody watching this is not going to be a part of it. You should be smarter than that. Don't believe everything that you hear on the television. There's a reason there's the word lie in believe. If they can get a certain amount of people emotionally involved, and you could see with certain groups of people, they tend to get very emotionally involved to the point where you almost start questioning. Because if you cannot speak logically to people and they go into rages for no reason, there's usually some kind of agenda behind it. Now, there are going to be plenty of people who are sitting on the sidelines who are not sure, which way to go. And there are going to be people that'll be persuaded to get involved in these things because they feel like, oh, I got to stand up for my particular group, my particular belief. Instead of understanding that everybody has the right to believe in whatever they want. Whether they're right or wrong, as long as they're not infringing on the rights of others, as long as they're not harming people, the world is not going to just wrap their arms around everybody and say, we love everybody. Sometimes you just don't like people for whatever reason, but that doesn't mean you have the right to hurt them or stop them from believing what they believe. And if you look throughout history, Most wars have to do with some kind of religious problem, some kind of power struggle, some form of jealousy where some group has something another group wishes they have, and instead of working with them or finding a way to get their own, they want to steal from others by taking from them, maybe murdering them, calling it wars. Now, I want you to think about this event that they are trying to get many people to talk about. And talk about is one thing, but getting yourself involved in it is a different story. They have been trying, especially in this country, for the longest time, trying to get rid of people's right to bear arms. In other words, the Second Amendment, where it's a God-given right to bear arms. Now, a gun on its own cannot kill someone. There has to be a person behind it, loading it, pointing at someone, and pulling a trigger. It's a tool. Just like if somebody wanted to kill somebody with a rope, they could kill somebody with a rope. If somebody wanted to kill somebody with their own two hands, they could kill somebody with their own two hands. But if you know anything about what this government has been trying to do, especially on the far left, they're trying to get rid of people's guns. Now, if you do it in the ways that they've been trying to do, where they're, trying to scare people every now and then, they could see that it doesn't work. And all you have to do is look at places like Chicago. That is one of the highest gun laws in all the country, and there's deaths there on a daily basis which don't get reported. The news media doesn't want you to know about these things. But let's assume that this quote-unquote civil war started, and there are people shooting each other all over the country. What do you think the government's going to do? Do you think they're just going to let everybody, like in the original Civil War, just let them fight amongst themselves? Or do you think they're going to step in, probably shoot both sides, and then what do they have? Justification for getting rid of the people's guns. Oh, we can't have these citizens learn that legal definition of what a citizen is, because if you learn it, you never will want to be one again. Get yourself a Black's Law Dictionary, at least the 5th edition or earlier, and look up the legal term of citizen, and you'd never want to be one again. But they'll just create laws and say, well, look what happened. This has been building up, and all of a sudden the people are fighting amongst themselves, and there's people shooting each other, and there's destruction. Well, we, the government, even though problem, reaction, solution, the government started the problem, it created our reaction, or the people's reaction, because I won't be stupid enough to involve myself in these things, in these plays that they set up. But they'll come in with the solution. Oh, we need to take away the guns. We can't have people have these things anymore. Look what they've done. And you know what? The average person that had no part of it is going to sit there and say, yeah, get these damn guns away from people. And if you know anything throughout history, once any government has been able to take away a nation's ability to defend itself, what do? There tends to be a lot of death, a lot of destruction, a lot of laws that you're not going to like. Now, it's bad enough there are people that want to do this in governments. It's bad enough there are people that get paid to march in the streets and pretend to be something that they're not. But for us to get emotionally involved and not think logically and clearly, you're allowing other people to play you like a puppet. You have the choice to do the right or the wrong thing. You have the choice to do nothing. You have the choice to go in the middle of the street and create the most anarchy anyone's ever seen. That is all up on you. And they want people to not think logically. Because you see here, I don't have severe emotions involved in here, where I'm like, oh, we got to kill this side, or we got to attack this side. I've always preached nonviolence, because you cannot put out a fire by adding more fire. And if you add fuel to a fire, what's going to happen? It's going to get worse. But they want you to shut off your logic and just deal with emotion. That's why you see things like Black Lives Matter and all the transgender movements and the feminist movements. Now, I'm not saying people don't have the right to, want to be more inclusive. That's perfectly fine. But when it turns into violence, when people are screaming out in the streets, we want tolerance, and they use violence to get tolerance, those are the fringes that we should not be allowing to be emotionally involved. And you notice the government, whether it's Republican or Democrat, will not fix the problem. And you see, like, for example, rappers like Eminem, that video he did just a week or two ago, how he talks about how Donald Trump is a racist, and yet when he talks about the typical Trump fan, what does he do? He does this Southern hick accent, basically saying if you're a Trump fan, you're a hick. Well, isn't that racist in itself? Do people not see the hypocrisy? And then he talks about how wonderful and how we need to praise Obama. Well, Obama didn't save the world. Look at how many places he had our military going into other countries and dying and murdering for their cause. Crime wasn't down. Look at his own state. Washington, D.C., well, its own country, but Washington, D.C., all the crime. And yet, isn't that a gun-free zone? They want you to not think logically. That's why there are people who will go on channels like this or other channels and just want to start a fight. They want to name call because they know it's going to get under your skin. And trust me, I think that's the reason, because I've always said in a lot of my videos recently, I've said, sometimes things repeatedly happen because you have to learn something from it. And when I first started this channel, for the first 2 or 3 years in the beginning, back between 2011 and probably around 2013, I was constantly getting attacked. I was constantly being made fun of. I didn't know how to handle it. But maybe it's because I needed to start learning about what that's all about. It's getting you to stop thinking logically and emotion, and look where it gets you. It gets you nowhere good. And that's why you'll see these people that get paid to try and attack somebody. They won't talk logically. They'll talk about, oh, the color of the skin, the shirt they're wearing, the car they drive, the type of people they listen to. They will not talk about specific data, or they will not talk in a civil tone. So no matter how rational you try and be, they will always come at you and attack you on some kind of emotional level, because that's what they want. Because if you lower yourself to that level, you will not think straight. And you will not see the bigger picture of you being led, even though it's your choice. So if there is some kind of quote-unquote civil war on November 4th, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, but there are going to be people that are really on both sides preparing for this because enough people are talking about it. Let me explain how you can stop this stuff. And I've used this example, but I haven't used it in a long time. Let's say you go to a casino, whether it's Atlantic City, whether it's Las Vegas, it doesn't matter. And you sit down at several different places. You try the slot machines, you find out they're rigged. You play blackjack, you find out the deal is cheating. You go and play Texas Hold'em, you find out that, the people that are in charge of it, they're being shady. So you figure out somehow that this casino is being totally dishonest. Now, you can complain all you want. You can even call the manager, and they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't know this person was doing that. We'll get rid of him, and they replace him with another dealer that's going to do the same exact thing. You can complain to the owner, who will never listen to your call, never listen to your complaint, nor would they care. So you can continue to complain while you're giving them your money and wondering why your money is slowly disappearing. Do you want to know how to beat the game? Because if you try and hit the dealer, you're going to get arrested. If you try and cheat like they cheat, you are going to get arrested. If you try and shoot the place up, you're going to get arrested. You're not going to solve your problem. So how do you solve the problem? By not playing the game and exiting the casino and saying, I want no part of it. And if every single person walked out of that casino, do you think they could profit off of you? Do you think they could get you so mad that they could get you to start a fight or cause destruction in their facility so they can have you arrested so they can profit off of you? They don't care if you are on the left or on the right. They don't care if you 100% believe in your cause. They are going to use both sides to emotionally want to attack each other, so they can create laws to take away more of both sides' freedom. Because when they create a law, they don't create a law that says, well, this is only going to apply to white people, or this is only going to apply to gay people, or this is only going to apply to African American people. It's going to apply to all people who live in the corporation known as the United States of America. So we will all be affected in the long run. So they are going to use you by making you feel that you are so emotionally involved that you have no choice and you have to fight back. You have to protect your own. You have to make a stand. Even if you feel it's 100% justified, you are playing a game they have set up and rigged. You will not win. Because in the end, they will put people in jail. There will be people that will die. The mom and pop stores will be the ones that are set on fire, that will be destroyed. The local people that are trying to earn a living just enough to get by, that won't have the $1 million insurance policies, who won't have government officials in their back pocket to finance any kind of problem, that won't have Swiss bank accounts or offshore accounts to hide their currency. Do you understand what's at stake here? There is no such thing as destiny. There is no such thing as prophecy. Because if everybody is aware, let's say, for example, they were trying everything that they can to make an event happen on November 4th. Well, it only works is if both sides decide to play the game. Because if only one person plays chess, the game doesn't work. So let's assume they wanted November 4th to work. Well, what happens if not one American goes outside and participates? Not either side doesn't throw the first stone. And they decide, you know what? I want no part of this. Well, what are they going to do? They're counting on people to be so upset, to be so afraid, to be so concerned that you won't stop and think that you have the freedom to do anything. Which means, don't play the game. The game is rigged. The media is going to put out stuff on a daily basis to make you mad, to make you scared, to make you hate people that you probably have never met in your life. You know, you see all these transgender movements. I used to DJ at a place, and I've talked about this several times. I've been doing karaoke since 1999. It's almost a couple of decades at this point. I've only gone to one bar, as far as I know, where there were transgender people. And you know what? They were the nicest people I've ever met. I consider them friends. Not one of them ever gave me a problem. And we used to talk about the fact that I don't agree with their lifestyle. It doesn't mean I hate them for it. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop them from having it. I just don't agree with it. And they were cool with that because I'm entitled to an opinion. They didn't try and attack me or make me feel bad because of my decision to not agree with somebody else's lifestyle choice. And we were friends. Nobody was trying to burn down my house. None of them were trying to attack me or force me by saying, oh, you're homophobic or you're a Nazi because I don't agree. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to not like something. I seriously doubt there is anybody on this planet that loves every single thing. Please point to me somebody that is. They are emotionally trying to set you up to get you angry, scared, and want to start something. And an event could be whatever you want it to be. It could be like this whole November 4th thing. It could be the worst nightmare you've ever imagined, or it could be just another event that people claimed is going to be the end of the world that goes by without an event happening. How many times have you been told, oh, by this specific date, there's going to be a planet that's going to hit the planet and destroy us, or there's going to be an asteroid, or there's going to be a great flood, or there's going to be a war, or the world is going to split apart due to earthquakes, or, polar shifts. Since I've been doing these videos since around 2011, I've heard dozens of people saying, next week, next month, next year is going to be the year that everything goes. And yet it doesn't happen time and time again, but yet people still, for some reason, want this. Why do you want this? You can create your own reality based on what you do and not do. So the only way a civil war will actually happen on November 4th is if people participate in it. And that's what the media, the government, and I'm not talking about the local mom and pop station. I'm talking about the billionaires who finance these things. And that's why pretty much no matter what channel you go on when there's a news event, they all talk about the same thing. They don't question it. They don't say, well, this is what they're saying, but I don't know if it's true or not because we don't have the facts. You ever notice when an event happens, they automatically within the first hour know exactly every single detail and you can't question it? Because if channels like mine or others question it, we're considered fake news. And yet they have the official what? You ever hear anyone say we have the official truth? Do we have proof? Or do they always call it what? An official story. Once upon a time. So if you want to believe in all the civil wars that they claim, if you want to believe that, some god is going to come down or some alien is going to come down and destroy this world, you have the right to believe whatever you want. Just because you believe in something or just because you don't believe in something does not mean it's true or false. You could sit there and say, I don't believe in air because you don't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there. But my point is, if you are people that are so emotionally charged that you cannot talk to them, those people are being taken advantage of. And that's why you have movements that are so emotionally charged. Because when you get a group of people together, they feed off of everybody's energy. You ever go into like some heavy metal concert and you see a mosh pit brewing? It's because of the energy of the people basically get everybody in that charged emotional state that they want to do something they would probably not do in broad daylight. How many people, and I worked in Manhattan, I've never seen a person decide, well, with this crowded bunch of people, I'm going to just start slamming into people. Because normal people don't do that. But if you're in a specific area where people get emotionally charged up, you feed off of each other. And that's how you're being used. And you notice they do movements that are very sensitive. People's religious beliefs, people's political beliefs, people's sexual preferences, the color of their skin. These are insecurities that people have when you're not strong internally. Because as you can see, I'm no Brad Pitt. I don't have muscles like some bodybuilder. But I like who I am. Even if everybody watching thinks I'm the worst, ugliest, fattest, dumbest person they've ever seen. Because it's just their opinion. It's what I believe in me that matters, not what some stranger matters. What somebody who loves me that matters. About what I say and what I think and who I am. But they feed off of people's insecurities and get them so emotionally charged that you cannot reason with them. So if you have ever been so emotionally charged by something you've seen on TV or even something you've seen on YouTube or Facebook or some other social media to the point where you want to injure somebody else or stop somebody else from having the right to be their own version of a human being, then congratulations, you're being played, you're being used because you're not thinking rationally. You are thinking emotionally. And that is a very selfish thing. It is a very dangerous thing. Because whether you're on the left or the right when it comes to politicians, they're both extremely wealthy. They both get plenty of fiat currency from corporations, from banks, from people with lots of currency to pretend to put on a show like you were watching WWE. You ever watch WWE, or back in the days when it was the World Wrestling Federation? When the cameras are on, they want to kill each other. They hate each other. But when the cameras are off and their job is done, they probably go out drinking together, socialize. They probably dated the same people. It's all an act. It's all a game. It only becomes real when you make it real. So for those who are stocking up guns, wanting to wait for that movement, wait for somebody to come out so they could shoot them, well, don't be surprised you get shot. Don't be surprised you get thrown in jail. Don't be surprised that the day after the smoke clears, the government walks in with their tanks and their military guns, and all of a sudden they gather people around and say, you know what? You're not allowed to have these toys anymore because you can't control yourselves. Look how emotionally crazy you got, even though they're the ones that stirred the pot. You got to think for yourself. You got to be smarter than that. And unfortunately, channels like mine will never see the light of day, because I guarantee you before this video even gets processed, YouTube is going to restrict it. But it's not going to stop me from speaking, because as you could see, there are 35 people, now 37 people. Let's assume 5 of them are here for the right reasons. That means I've gotten a message through to 5 people. Who knows how many people they can get through? How many people will share this information if you feel it's important? If you see videos about people talking about November 4th and saying how they're ready for the revolution, I want you to have them see this video. I want you to share the link or make your own video. Get these people to understand that they have the power to do everything. If you want to be played, don't be surprised by the game that you lose. Because if you play a rigged game, you are going to lose. No matter how hard you think you could win. No matter how many, like you play the blackjack and you learn some of the tricks that the dealer is doing. You might win once or twice. You might even go home a winner. But the average person that goes to the casino is going to lose. And we have to start caring for more than just ourselves. If we are a generation of, instead of like for me, I was Generation X. If you want to be labeled Generation Me, when it's nothing but selfies and people making videos, that's one of the reasons why I hardly put myself on camera anymore. Because I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the message. I want it to be where they hear my voice and they don't think about what religion I am, or what color is my skin, or what sexual preference I have. They just hear the message. Too many people in this world are saying things like, oh, it's all about me. My feelings matter than your feelings. Your feelings matter just as much as mine do, just as much as my next door neighbors, just as much as somebody I've never met halfway across the world. We could be angry and wonder why the world is not getting any closer to peace. We can hurt others and wonder why life isn't getting better. Well, we could start thinking in a different way. Look at what's happening with the NFL. Slowly but surely, they're losing money because people don't want to watch the games anymore. They don't want to go buy tickets anymore. They don't even want to buy sports clothes. You don't have to set the buildings on fire. You don't have to shoot the people that kneel, because it's not right. How are you any better if you do something that you think is wrong because somebody else did it first? You ever hear the expression, 2 wrongs don't make a right? The reason that it's starting to be successful is people are not giving money anymore. That is the secret they don't want you to know about. That's why they want you mad at somebody else for the color of their skin, their sexual preference, what bathroom they choose to go in, who they vote for, even though votes don't count. You're a human being. It's time we start acting like them. It's time we start caring. Unless you like being a tool and being a chess piece that somebody else is guiding in the direction for them to win their game. Because if we have a civil war, like some people are trying to say, you really think the cops are going to come in and stop it? You think the military is really going to stop? They're going to let people shoot themselves. And when the dust clears, they'll come in and sweep everybody away and take both sides' freedom. So if you're a Black Lives Matter, if you are a white supremacist, if you are a transgender, if you are a feminist, if you are a Republican, if you are a Democrat, it doesn't matter. When they make the laws to take away your freedom, it's going to affect us all. And by the time we realize that, it will already be too late. So do you want to wait until after the fact so people like me and others can say, ha, we told you so? Or you think about it before it happens and realize you have the power to do everything to change things and not play the game that they are trying to set up? It's problems, reactions, solutions. And one thing that James said right here is hope not. Don't hope. Hope means that people are not willing to put in the effort. When you're hungry, you don't hope for food. You don't wish for food. You go get food. Whether you have to buy it or just get out of your bed and go to your refrigerator or be like a caveman and hunt for it. If you want to hope, you'll never get. It's time we stop hoping and start doing. It's time we stop wishing and start achieving. It's time we stop getting on our knees and praying when we have the power that was given to us to change the world. Evil thrives when good people do nothing. But if you're going to do something, don't do the wrong thing. Don't do what they want you to do. Because the only people you're hurting are yourselves. You ever see a riot? Are they destroying government buildings in those riots? Are they destroying the multi-billion-dollar mansions from the people who finance these things? No. It's the local people's homes. It's the mom and pop stores. And what does that do? It raises up the taxes because now they have to gather all this money up that they have to borrow so they can rebuild. And you think mom and pop stores are going to get the finances and get the government backups like how Ford Motor Company and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and all these other businesses get? You think we're going to get those bailouts? You're fooling yourself if you think you will, even if they promise you the world. Politicians' jobs is to promise you the world, tell you everything that you want to hear, make you think that they believe in your cause, even if they switch it every 5 years. And you'll always, for some reason, keep giving them the benefit of the doubt, thinking this person's going to be the one. It's time to think differently. It's time to think for yourself. If you want to live in a world full of emotion, don't be surprised that things are going to get you so emotionally charged that one day you're going to snap. And you're going to justify it because they fed you a bunch of lies that made you feel so empowered that you feel that you are more special than somebody else because maybe you have more currency. Or maybe your preference of what you believe in, whatever God you believe in. Whether it be Jesus or Satan. Or any numerous amounts in between. We are all supposed to be equal. We are all supposed to be human beings, or just humans. No one person is better than another. And if we can't see that, there is no hope. But I'm not worried either way. Because even if there is a revolution, even if there is destruction and war and all these things, it will not affect me because I will not be a part of it. And the same could go for you. If everybody just walked away and put down their guns, or put down their pipes, or got out of the streets and harassing people, and just went about their own lives and did whatever made them happy, this world wouldn't be in the situation that it's in. But you're being pushed. Be smarter than that. If you are all about nonstop emotion and you cannot even listen to my words because some reason you don't like the way I look or the way I talk or who I am, if you cannot listen to my words, then that says more about you and how you cannot control your emotions. And that is the type of people governments and media want. They want a person that cannot think rationally, who cannot think for themselves, because they can easily push that person towards an agenda that they want. Is that what you want to be? A tool? Getting mad at me doesn't solve anything. Not listening only hurts yourself. Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. So hopefully, people will start to think differently. And Pam says, bar none, do you interact with your chat? Most of the time I don't, because a lot of times people there are a few people that will just say things that will distract me and take me off of the topic that I'm talking about. And I don't like doing that anymore. So I always appreciate people and the ones that are here for the right reasons. But there's a reason why I don't read a lot of times what's being said in the chat room. Because again, there are people that will be emotionally involved. And yes, choose your own reality. You create your own reality. If you want civil war, then you'll get it. But why would you want something that's not going to bring you anything good? Makes no sense to me. That's why I don't go out in the streets and try and start situations. I don't tell other people how to live. Even on my channel, I just talk. Whether you resonate with it or not, that's on you. I don't tell anybody how to live. I definitely don't have an agenda other than us not blowing ourselves up out of stupidity and pride and ego and vanity and currency that's made up. We got to think a little deeper. Got to think better. So spread this message if you appreciate it. Like it. If you want to join my Patreon, it helps me because YouTube is going to make these things unadvertiser friendly because they don't like people to think for themselves. They don't like people to think logic. And they definitely don't want messages getting out to make people not really want to participate in their game. It goes against their agenda. No matter how many nice suits that they wear and how many nice things that they say and how many lies they spew out with a smile on their face, it's just time to think a different way, unless you really want these bad things to happen. And if that's the case, don't be so shocked when they do. Be careful what you wish for, you may get it. I choose a reality that's not going to evolve in these things, and that's why I talk about this stuff. Because if you knew tomorrow, if you went outside your house, you were going to be struck by lightning, well, you'd be pretty foolish to go outside and test fate. If you stay indoors, you won't be outside being struck by lightning. If somebody said tomorrow, if you go swimming, you're going to be eaten by a shark, well, if you don't go swimming, you won't get eaten by a shark. You have more control over your destiny and your future than they will ever let you know. They want you to be helpless. That's why most people in the world are poor and afraid and angry. Because if you can keep people in those lower emotions, they are so easy to manipulate. So easy that they don't even realize they're being manipulated. Because they'll still be angry at somebody like me that's trying to waken them up to save themselves. I once was blind, but now I see. And I understand what that truly means. And if you think it's just somebody that lost their sight and all of a sudden got their vision back, then you're not thinking deep enough. And I hope you'll switch that. So to everybody out there that's here for the right reasons, I thank you. The fact that I got 38 people shows that no matter how much they try and silence this, the message will always get out there. There will always be a way, unless you choose to be silent. So speak up if you don't want to share my videos or post the links. Speak for yourself. Lose the fear. Get rid of the emotion. Think logically. Save the emotion for love, or helping an animal, or helping a family member, or feeding somebody who's homeless and hungry. Get rid of the negative emotions that make you think that you're so much better than somebody else that you need to extinguish their life or stop them from doing something they love because it contradicts your belief. That's pretty arrogant. That's pretty vain. And if you think about it from the religious point of view, God would never make you think that way. There's another person that would. So if you're one of those religious people that really believe that the Bible is a true story and everything is supposed to be all about love, well, God isn't telling people to hate each other. God isn't telling each other to fight each other or to be envious or jealous. But there's another person that would be very happy to make you jealous, to make you vain, conceited, arrogant. Think better, be better, do better, and things will get better. Thanks for listening, and have a great night. Think for yourself, or somebody will do it for you. Peace.